Good evening, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about writing and evaluating expressions. So I hope everybody has their notes ready because we're ready to go. Well, the first thing that we're going to be looking at is terminology. So the number one is expression. Expression is a mathematical phrase that contains operations, numbers, and variables. However, keep in mind, there is no equal sign. So you can see from my example that we have 3m minus 5. So in this particular one, we have the number 3. We have a variable, m. Minus is an operation. And then we have the number 5. So we have a lot of different things just in this simple expression. So go ahead and write an expression of your own. And you can stop this video at any time to do your entries. Number 2 is equation. Equation is an expression that can be solved for a variable. It must have an equal sign. So that is the major difference between the two. An expression does not, but an equation does have an equal sign. And take a look at my example. 3m minus 5, and now here's our equal sign, 12. So go ahead and write your own expression on this one. Number 3 is variable. Variable is a letter that represents a value. Example would be the letter K, and you can use any letter in the alphabet. 4 is numerical expression. They do not contain any variables. They just have numbers. That's it. So look at my example. I have 3 minus 7. And as you can see, there are just numbers in there. Take some time and write your own numerical expression. Number 5 is an algebraic expression. Algebraic expressions contain variables, and they also contain numbers. So here's my example of an algebraic expression. We have 3x minus 5. Now go ahead and take some time and write your own expression. Okay, the final term that we're going to talk about is evaluate. If you think about evaluating, that when you're evaluating something and you're trying to think of a solution. So it really mathematically it is the same thing. The only difference is when we're evaluating, we're going to be using the order of operations, and we're going to do a whole lesson on that later. But we're going to use the order of operations to solve a problem. And if you take a look at my example, we have 2 times 3 minus 10 equals negative 4. So I know that I need to take the 2, multiply it by the 3. That gives me 6. And 6 minus 10 equals negative 4. So go ahead and take some time and do your own evaluation of the next problem. All right, so let's go and try some examples. If we look at this first one, we have the the expression 9r minus 2p. And we know that r is going to equal 3 and p is going to equal 5. So the first thing that we need to do is do our substitution. Okay? So r is going to be 3, and then p is going to be 5. So you can see where I've substituted into the expression. So our next step is to use our order operations to evaluate. I'm going to circle that for you. And I've told you exactly what to do. So the first order is to multiply. So 9 times 3 is 27. So I'm going to write that in there. Bring down that minus sign. And then 2 times 5 is 10. So now all I need to do is the last thing, which is subtract. So 27 minus 10 is 17. And we have our answer right there. All right, we're almost done. This is a word problem that we're going to work on. And it says if C is the number of cups of water needed to make a paste, then 1/4 or 1/4 cup can be used to find the number of cups of flour needed. Find the number of cups needed for 12 cups of water. So what we actually have here is our little formula of 1/4C. So I'm going to write that down, and that takes care of writing the expression. The next thing that we need to do is substitute. So we are going to look at this part right here. Needed for 12 cups. So we know that C equals 12. So I'm just going to make a little note at the top there. And then what I need to do is go ahead and substitute 12 for C. So I'm going to rewrite this again. So it's going to be 1/4 times 12. But I'm going to, since I'm dealing with fractions, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to write my 12 as a fraction and just put a 1 underneath it. Now, multiply straight across because that's how we solve with fractions. So 1 times 12 is 12. And then 4 times 1 is 4. So what we have is 12/4. Well, we need to simplify that. We always need to simplify our answers. How many times does 4 go into 12? So our final answer will be 3. And we always want to write what we're talking about. So 3 cups. And there we go. We've got our answer. So on your own, I want you to go ahead and write these down. You should already have them in your notes, and go ahead and solve these. So you have those 2 and this one. So stop the video and work on those 3 problems, and when you're finished, come back to the video. All right, so you should have had time to complete these 3 problems, and now you can check your answers. So number 1 was 11, 2 was 12, and 3 was 212 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is the end, so take some time for your quiz and respond to a classmate. Don't forget to put your notes in your 3-ring binder, and also write down any questions that you might have so we can ask them, or not me, so you can ask them tomorrow.